Well, to everyone in Stack Trading, good morning. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I know I did. It was very relaxing. Last week was even though we had a short week, it felt like a full week. It was just a lot of work. A lot was happening last week. Um, and I'm refreshed, and I think Taj, you're refreshed too, right? We're looking forward to coming back here, making some money today. And this morning there was a lot of pre-market action going on. Specifically, I'm looking at CCIV, PLTR. There's some biotech names, the airlines. So there's some good volatility that I really like. So let's just kick it off and make that fast money this morning. So for everyone on YouTube tuning in, smash that like button and that subscribe button, and let's get right to it. So with that being said, let me start off with my A list. American Airlines. So Deutsche Bank comes out this morning and gives out an upgrade on practically the entire industry. American Airlines, United, Delta, JetBlue. And I like American Airlines. It's a cheap stock. It's trading at 1987 in pre-market. It's bull flagging in pre-market, which I like a lot. And the airlines, as we know, have been beaten down because of the pandemic and the shutdowns. This is a daily chart on American Airlines. The way I see it, guys, American Airlines, it has pretty much a clear pathway to, I see $21 to $22 today. Now, it would take a big move for American Airlines to get to 21, 22, but on the daily, there really is no resistance up until those numbers. I think American Airlines is also the most heavily shorted airline in the entire industry in the stock market. So that's why I picked this one specifically. And Deutsche Bank gives it a price target of, let's see here. Well, Jefferies raised it to 15 bucks. They're already behind the ball because it's trading at almost 20. So we don't need to listen to Jefferies. But we can listen to Deutsche Bank, who gives it a $23 price target. So they're more bullish on American Airlines than Jefferies is. So the way I see it is this. It's flagging in pre-market. So you can even get in now in pre-market if you wanted to. Put your stops at 1968. But I think the real stops are going to be at like 1950, where it broke out of that prior pre-market high that it made at around 5 a.m. And first target is to break that intraday high or pre-market high of $20.12. If it definitely breaks out of that, I mean, we could see, 12.50 to 21. Now, if you're going to get in this, you can keep your stops tight, like I said, 1968, 1960 range. If you want to give it a little bit more room, 1950. If it fails 1950, you're going to want to get out of it because then it would have lost the momentum that it's created, especially with this nice bull flag that it's setting in pre-market. So I like that. Other names that I'm going to keep a very close eye on is Sava, S-A-V-A. We got some nice news that came out. Let me reference the news again. I posted it here. So Sava, the FDA has agreed that the completed phase 2 program, together with an upcoming and well-defined phase 3 clinical program, are sufficient to show evidence of clinical efficacy, right, for their Alzheimer's disease solution. So that caused a 10-point spike on Sava. It's pulled back four or 5 points from that. I like Sava a lot because it's a low float and it has a heavy short interest, at least a minimum of 20%. If you pull up a daily chart on Sava, you can see that 2 weeks ago the stock was trading at $115. And if you guys recall, I actually shorted the hell out of Sava on that day. So Sava has been a very fun trade. I've made very good money with Sava. So today I expect the same. So here's what I see with it. If we can hold this $63, then I like it for a long. If it falls below $63, I would get out of it just because it would have kind of lost that upward trend momentum. If you want to give it a little bit more room, maybe 62. But I'm going to keep my stops at 63. I'm not in it currently, so I have to kind of wait for an entry point on it. But I definitely do think that we'll see this break out of the pre-market high of 69.50. But I've got stops on this one at 63. Another name that I'm going to keep a very close eye on is Boeing. So as you guys may have seen, the Boeing 777 aircraft engine failure that happened over the weekend is causing a ripple effect on the stock. So they have been grounded in the US and in Japan. The difference with this one and the 737 MAX is that the 777 is not, there's not a lot of them in the world, and they're designed primarily for international travel, and they're very, very heavy in the Japan market and obviously the US market. So it's obviously going to take a hit on the stock because Boeing is just constantly getting plagued with these aircraft, failures and just very, very poor situations that they've been in and misfortunate situations. So I'm going to keep a very close eye on Boeing. If it gets punished, I want to see it break below 209. Maybe we can even get an early entry at 210 to short it. But if the stock wants to recover and breaks out of 214, yeah, go long, put your stops at 213. Keep your stops tight on it. But I'm kind of more on the short bias side of this for today. Overall, I am going to keep a very close eye on the triple Qs and the SPY. So why? Because we were talking about it on our Facebook Live page that the 10-year yield is approaching 1.5%. And to keep it simple, the reason why that's a problem for U.S. equities in the stock market is because the closer the 10-year yield gets to 1.5%, it competes more with the yield that the S&P 500 provides. So if you were to look up the SPY and look up the dividend, I'm looking that up right now as we speak. The dividend on the S&P 500 is 1.46. So for those people who are looking for, income from a dividend perspective, could most likely, right, buy the 10-year yield, which is a less volatile instrument, and receive a higher dividend, right, or a higher yield on their investment versus the S&P 500. So you have the yield starting to compete with U.S. equities. Not only that, you have inflation that's rising, and you have a federal government under the Biden administration that is going to probably pass a ginormous stimulus package. And there's a lot of fear that that ginormous stimulus package is going to spike up inflation. So, at this point, it doesn't matter what I think or what Taj thinks about the politics of stimulus or, the economics and the different theories. This is what the stock market is reacting on, and we have to trade accordingly based on, this reaction, right? So with the triple Qs, right, and I gave all that background so that we understand why the market's gapping down. The triple Qs, they're range bound between 327.50 and 326. So if we break above 327.50, you could go long, put your stops at like 327. Keep a tight range on it for today. But if the triple Qs breaks below 326, get your hands on some puts because we can definitely see some downside. On the daily chart, we've broken the 20 MA, and honestly, I don't really see substantial support until 325 and then 323, right? So that is what I'm seeing with the triple Qs. Okay. Now, Taj just typed in that Bitcoin is getting crushed. It is definitely getting crushed today. Let me pull up. Let me see where it's at right now. Woo! Sub 50,000.
It was down 15% on that yank.
Oh, look at that shit. Okay. Wow. I just saw 49,800 on the print with Bitcoin. All right. Bitcoin is getting slammed. So because Bitcoin is getting slammed, look at Riot and look at Mara. We are going to short the hell out of these names today. I'm preferably going to short Mara. The reason why is because Merrill Edge allows me to short it with equity. I really don't like messing with Mara and Riot with options contracts. I got burned on options contracts with Riot on Friday, so you can't pay me to touch options contracts with Riot.
Yeah.
So I am not messing around. I've learned my lesson. So I'm gonna just stick with Mara, short it with equity, and call it a day. So with Bitcoin crashing down, then that's gonna happen. On the swing trading room, you guys may have saw that yesterday. I posted I wanted to get into an entry on MSTR. Let me be very clear. With Bitcoin selling off the way that it is, I am holding off on that swing entry until Bitcoin settles down, right? Why? Because MSTR literally trades with Bitcoin like Mara does and Riot and some of these other names. So I'll wait for a proper entry and I'll let you guys know if I get in it on the name. So I just want to make that clear in case anybody missed that announcement that I made this morning. One other name, and I'll pass it on to Taj, is going to be a biotech stock, CLSN. CLSN got some nice news. It's gapping up. It's a short float. I've already traded this in pre-market and made some good money on it. And this thing could possibly rip to $4 to $5 today, maybe even more. The news on this one specifically, let me just scroll back up just to see. CLSN receives FDA Fast Track designation for an advanced ovarian cancer solution that they've got. Pull up, a 1 year, 2 year chart on this, and specifically, I'm looking at June of 2020, right? You saw this stock hit a high of $6.60 at one point. So this stock, I could see it definitely hitting 455, and if it really rips, I mean, shit, we'll test that high of June 19th. So with that being said, that's my A list for today, and I'm just watching Mara get dumped along with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is at sub 48,000.
Oh my God, down 17%.
Yeah, baby.
Ethereum down 19.5%.
Yeah, baby. And I guess for full disclosure, I am long Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I welcome this pullback because guess what? Today, I'm going to be buying some more. Bitcoin specifically, I'm looking for Bitcoin to hit the 50-day moving average, which sits at 40,000. So if Bitcoin hits between 40 to 41,000, I'll buy some more. Ethereum, I'll buy some more if it hits 1,400. So that's what I'm looking at for those two. And Taj, I'm going to pass that on you, brother.
Yeah, man. These are going to be a fun name to keep eyes on today. Another name that you could watch as well, if prices for Mara are too expensive for you, is SOS. That's another name you can keep an eye on. Trading similarly to Mara and Riot. It's about $10. Keep an eye on that as well. I'll be keeping a close eye on Mara and SOS because, I mean, whether it breaks down or you get a relief bounce, clearly there's going to be a lot of volatility with these names. So with that being said, those Mara, SOS are going to be at the very top of my list, along with CLSN. Don't sleep on this name. It's forming a nice bull flag here. Hopefully it doesn't break out before the market opens. But I like the entry here around 349, 350. We can throw our stops around that 325 area, 320, and look for a potential, run on this. If you look from about 2 weeks ago, CLSN has hit a high of 348, and then pulled back down to this $1.90 level. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing: if we break out of that, like Alex said, we'll see $4 on this thing, maybe $4.50. There's really no resistance until $4. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we're looking at about $4.50. So there's plenty of room for this to run. It does allow for options contracts to be traded on this. So whether you want to trade equity outright or the contracts, you have the opportunity to do both. So I really like CLS, and I'm going to keep a very close eye on this as well. Some other names that I'll be watching. Where did I have it? Pbr. Pbr is a name I want to keep an eye on. They had some news come out that there's some concerns about the company because I guess they randomly just picked a CEO. So there seems to be some internal issues going on with the company. And because of that, the stock is down around $2.20. The volume traded is very, very heavy. So there's a lot of volatility with this name. I'm not sure what let's see what the short interest is on this. Short interest Pbr. So the way I see it right now, okay, not too much. So the way I see it now is if it starts breaking this low, 773, we can play it short with stops around 790, around a 20-cent risk. And there's really no support. I mean, this thing is really breaking down. There's no support really until around 720. There's a gap to fill back here from early November, from about 745 up to 797. So we're right in the middle of that range. So I could definitely see this come back down to that 730, maybe even $7 if the pressure continues. So that's all. That's the name I'll be keeping an eye on. I'll also be keeping an eye on Snap. So Snap had some news come out today. Morgan Stanley raised their price target to $80 from $50. So that is a very, very huge upgrade from that. Bank of America last week raised their price target to $70. So you have a lot of the big analysts coming out and raising their price targets on Snap significantly. So what I really like about it is if you look at Snap and then you look at the SPYs, or even better, look at the Qs. The Qs have been getting hammered as well as the SPYs, but Snap is really holding strong. So what does that tell us? If the market really starts to rebound at these levels, you could see Snap push even higher. The all-time high on Snap was out Friday, 65.79, closed right at the high, 65.52. And we're currently gapping up to $66. So as the market is gapping down significantly, I mean the Qs are gapping down 5 points. Snap is actually gapping up 50 cents. So the way I see it now, if it starts to break out above 66.40, 66.43, you can play it long, go stops at 66, and see where this can go in all-time highs. There was a brief touch of 67 during the pre-market, but it was very, very light volume. So this was more so due to a spread than anything. But if you break out above 67, Snap has plenty of room to run. If you look at it on the daily, there's about 3 weeks of consolidation here between 65 or 66 and about 61. So now that we're starting to break out of this range, we can have some follow through. We can have the market rebound. You're going to see Snap really take off. So that's going to be one name that's on my A-list today. Overall, I'll be keeping an eye on the market. I think we're at a very crucial point right now. You know, Alex touched on it with the bond yields, adding pressure to the equity markets. If the SPYs really start to break down, which I would actually prefer, I would look to get short. You know, if we start breaking down below these levels, we're at 386 for the SPYs. The Qs, Alex already went over. They're going to be in trouble, specifically the Qs. The Qs are trading below the 20 MA and the 8 MA on the daily chart. So if we start to break below those levels, I mean, we could easily see the Qs sometime this week come back down and test that 317 level, the lower portion of that Bollinger Band. And if there's more pressure, you could see 313. So I know the market's been pretty choppy over the past going on 2 weeks now, but I think this week is going to be the week that we see things start to pick back up. So that being said, we definitely want to keep our eyes on the overall market. Let's wait for an actual move to happen before we start trading a little heavier, right? Trading as we usually do. I'm going to be trading very light today until I start to see some continuation, right? That's kind of been the theme over the past 2 weeks. And then once I see that continuation, I'll transition back into trading as usual. Another name, I believe you touched on it, PLTR. You mentioned PLTR, right?
I briefly touched on it, but I didn't give like a specific analysis.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I really like PLTR. It's having a nice bounce. It had an initial sell-off this morning, all the way down to $28. We rallied all the way up to $30, which is actually above Friday's closing price of $29. Right now, it's actually forming a triple bottom right here. We have one at 750, another at 835, and another bottom here at 920. So the way I see it, if PLTR starts to trade back above 30, we can definitely look for longs with stops at 29.50. 30.45, so there's your one-to-one. But then after that, we have a lot of room to run on the stock. I mean, there's really nothing until around 31.30. I see some resistance here, but then after that, like 33.60. So PLTR was a name that was got beaten up the past 2 weeks. It was trading around 39, almost $40 2 weeks ago. Traded all the way down to $24. I know a lot of you were talking about swinging PLTR around at $24, $25. So if you did, congratulations, you're already up pretty nicely on it.
Yep.
And this thing looks like it has more room to run. So it's going to be a very key level for it to break through today because we're trading right on the 8 MA. If I'm not mistaken, the 8 MA is at $31. Is it 31?
$29.94.
$29.94. So we're literally right at it. So this is going to be a huge area for PLTR to break. If we can break and hold that 8 MA, I think we're definitely going to at least test that 20 MA on the daily. However, if it starts to fail the 8 MA, we start getting some top and tail action. Get ready for PLTR to maybe test those lows again, perhaps some type of pullback again. But nonetheless, we got a solid bounce, and so far, I like it for a bullish play right out of the gates. Other than that, there's going to just kind of be a couple other names that I'll just be keeping an eye on. NEO is going to be one of them. The thing I really like about NEO is it's at a very strong support level here, around that $54, $53 price zone. Thursday, we hit a low 52.60, and then we started getting some bouncing. We closed Friday at 54. We're now trading $1 lower around 54. I'm sorry, we closed at 55. Now we're trading at 54, but we're starting to catch some support here clearly at that $53 price level, right? Consolidated all here this morning, and now we're actually testing some of the intraday action, intraday highs of today. So the way I see it, if NEO starts to break out above 54.50, we can look for longs, throw stops at 54, and there's really no resistance until around 55.70, 55.70 range. So I'll be keeping an eye on this. It's going to more so be on my B list, but as you guys know, NEO tends to have huge pops in the morning. So don't sleep on NEO for the most part.
Yep.
Other than that, I mean, that's pretty much going to be my watch list. My A list is going to be composed of the Bitcoin stocks, SOS, Mara, American Airlines as well. Alex already went through that. NEO is going to be more so a B list, and then also Snap's going to be on my A list. Oh, and CLSM. That's another one that's going to be on the A list.
Yeah. I don't think we mentioned it, but CCIV is definitely in play today. I mean, we've been playing CCIV a bunch of times. Did you mention it by chance?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, so it's actually bull flagging right now in pre-market. Looks like it's about to break out. Let me see. Friday's highs. Yeah, it's already trading above Friday's highs. So it's in play today. CCIV is another one that can get you really dirty with options contracts. So just be careful with it, guys. I'm personally, if I'm going to trade CCIV, I'm going to play it with equity. Okay. So with that being said, let me end the recording for our YouTube folks. We are about to go live in the stock market in 45 seconds. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys later.